Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You're now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. If you're going to be successful, do it quickly and use the Zipline to success. With our guest, Claudia Newcorn. Claudia, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me on the show today, Bill. I'm very much looking forward to our meeting.
Claudia, I love your book, Zipline to Success, and I was saying that to you before the show. I thought it was just another marketing book, but you really break things down so easy for us non-marketing people, and you make it so obvious that, hey, if we don't listen to some of your tips, we're just actually cutting into our own revenue and maybe hastening the demise of our business. You start out and say, there's nothing small about a small business. And I started thinking about that. I said, isn't that obvious? But it really is true. I mean, every business has to do the same things. And that poor small business, the guy has to be the accountant, the marketer. He has to paint the walls and make the pizza, right?
Absolutely. I mean, to talk about wearing so many hats, you are ready to topple.
Now, give us some of the statistics, because I was astounded by them. A small business, and I think you define that as 20 or less employees. Is that right?
Well, the SBA actually defines a small business in the purest sense as fewer than 500 employees, which is pretty much most companies I know. But I regard small businesses as really anything from about 20 employees and under, and that tends to be the predominant size of companies. They're either that or smaller.
And there's something like 99% of the companies are that size or smaller, so your book is really for most of us.
Absolutely. They're the giant companies, we all hear about them, but these small companies, honestly, they make up 99.7% of U.S. employer firms.
And I think you mentioned that ineffective marketing is actually one of the top reasons for failure of small businesses. Is that the case?
Yes, it is. Money Magazine did some research, and they determined that 8 out of 10 reasons why companies fail is actually because of ineffective marketing, and yet marketing is often treated so casually or incompletely that it's really sad, Bill, but companies can set themselves up for failure and never realize they're doing it.
One of the good things, as a result of your book, at least I've learned a lot just going through and planning today's show, but you give the small business person a lot of tips that they can exercise on themselves. And if they can't, you tell them where to go to get hold of the next step or the right person or the right source that can give them the information they need.
Absolutely. I think very often what happens is people are passionate. I think one of the most amazing things about small businesses, Bill, is they have a dream. They have a passion. They want to get out there and do their own thing. That's what's so important to them. But what very often happens is when passion meets reality, there tends to be a bit of an explosion in that what you thought was going to happen as a new business owner doesn't have a lot to do with reality. And one of the first things I will encourage startups, people who are thinking about starting a business, is to research their market. And people will say, well, gee, we don't have a lot of money. We can go out there and spend lots of money. Totally agree. But the U.S. government on what's called U.S. Census Quick Facts has an absolute wealth of data on things down to really tiny towns. If you want to learn about who's in your physical marketplace, area chambers of commerce will provide you with a lot of information about the people, the income, the demographics. And there's also another great website, citydata.com, again, which provides a lot of great profile information on markets and the people that you think you'd like to serve with your business.
Now, Claudia, most of us feel, and I guess maybe we watch Shark Tank too much, but if we get a new idea or see an opportunity and we say, wait, nobody ever thought of that before, or at least we think they didn't, why is that not really a good approach? Is it not enough to make that business successful?
I think we probably in our heart of hearts hope nobody has ever created it before, and it is possible it may be a totally new idea, but the problem is most of us have very limited capital, Bill. We all pick up the paper and we hear about the next tech company that's gotten, millions of dollars from venture capitalists, But that's really, really an isolated situation. For most of us, when we want to start our business, we've only got so much money. And so before running out there and saying, okay, I'm going to launch the next thing compared to sliced bread, you really want to take a bit of time to do some assessment to find out, is it as unique an idea as I thought it is? If it's a unique idea, is it something people will want to buy? I had, for example, this woman who wanted to start a child care center. And so she's all gung-ho, she's running around, she's working on getting her license. And I happened to know the area where she lived. And I said, did you check to see if people need child care in preschool? Well, everybody needs child care in preschool, Claudia. And I asked her to do a quick and dirty check on the age groups, how many people were married, how many, families there were in the area she wanted to serve. And what really shocked her was she was in a college area. Well, most college kids don't have families and they don't need preschool and child care. So it wasn't that it was a bad idea, the location was wrong for it. And a little bit of preparatory work saved her a lot of heartache and a lot of money.
And I think that's so important because we all feel like diving in. This is so exciting. I know this beer is going to be the best beer, the best pizza, the best accounting firm ever. But if we're in the wrong area, it's like trying to grow a certain crop in the wrong part of the country. If it's cold there and you need warm weather, it's just not going to grow. And the idea is still good, but the location makes it a failure, right?
Absolutely. And it can be the availability of the consumers, too. I was working with a gentleman who makes, honestly, the best ice cream you've ever had. And in his case, he was in a good location, but another tool in marketing, Bill, and a lot of folks forget that marketing is more than just advertising and promotion. It involves pricing. It involves what makes you unique, what they call positioning. It involves place or where it's available. Well, he had come up with this product that is absolutely to die for. It's the best gourmet ice cream I've ever had. And he finally, I hear from him, he says, Claudia, I know you love my ice cream. I'm losing money. I don't know what's the matter. I keep trying to do this marketing and I do this promotion. I've got to do more marketing to grow the business. And I said, could I please take a look at your numbers first? This doesn't make sense. And what happened is when you do pricing, you have to look at costs. And that may sound common sense, Bill, but my mom used to say common sense isn't common. Mm-hmm. And what happened was he had taken into account what it cost him to make the ice cream, but not all of the overhead costs, the rent, the lights, the utilities. And it turned out he was selling every cup of ice cream at $1 loss. If he had gone and done more marketing, can you imagine if more people were buying from him, he would have been losing more money as a result.
So here he has a great product, but luckily he talked to you, but till he did the marketing, he didn't realize how much he's actually losing on the product.
Absolutely. And the good news is, with, shall we say, a bit of argument, he raised his price by just a little over $1. And he said, oh, no one is ever going to pay an extra $1. I'm going to kill my business. I said, look, you can always take it down. Please try it. I need you to trust me on this one. So he raised the price $1, and I'm very happy to report that his business has trebled in size. He received an award for being a best ice cream maker in the entire region, and people are lining up outside the door to get his ice cream.
We have to talk after the show.
Seriously, I have to tell you, those are what I really love about my profession here and working as a marketing consultant. There's nothing better than a success story when you see people going, aha, implementing it, and then they report back to you, you're never going to believe what happened. That's what's so wonderful about doing this.
Claudia, your book is Zipline to Success. It's by our guest, Claudia Newcorn, Newcorn. Claudia, will you tell us where we can get the book and if there's a website where we can find out more?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. The book is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all booksellers are able to order it if they don't carry it. Of course, it's available in print and ebook. And if people would like to learn more about it, if they go to my website, Zipline2Success.com, they can find out a lot more about the book and how it's helped people.
And really, I'm going to say this again, do yourself a favor. I had no idea it was this good till I started going through it, and I'm saying, My God, I think any small business, you're going out there giving away pens, your business cards, maybe a few calendars. Find out Claudia's tips, and you're going to get a lot more out of your business, make a lot more money, and be like that ice cream guy. Now, Claudia, another a quick story you gave in the book, and I think it was very much a great example for people, was I believe it was a fellow who made high-end doors.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
High-end screen door.
Can you give us kind of an overview with the math there? Because it looked like he had like 250,000 potential customers in a geographic area, and then what happened?
Well, that's a wonderful story, and it illustrates how, again, passion meets reality. He had made this it was an extraordinary security door, and it was designed to protect people from break-ins on sliding doors. So he put in a lot of work, invested a lot of time, frankly, a lot of money, and he wasn't getting the take rate or the orders he had anticipated. So we had to sit down, and I said, all right, where are you serving? And he identified a big swath of California. And he said, well, there's over 250,000 homes in this initial area, and I should have a lot more sales. I said, but the reality is not every home is going to want that door. For example, they may not have a sliding door. They may already have a security system, and they're satisfied with it. They may not be able to afford the type of door that you're selling. We need to look at ways to identify what your real audience is. So we started culling through it, and we said, okay, there's 250,000 homes. Now, of those homes, a certain percentage, about 75%, are owned, but the others are rented. It's probably homeowners who would be most likely to buy your door. So that chops it down to about 187,000 homes. Then we said homeowners who have a home valued at probably, say, $400,000 or higher because they're more concerned about protecting their home are probably the folks who might want to buy this door. Well, that chops it down by another 50%. So now we're down to 93,000 homes. And then how many of those had a sliding glass door? So I asked him to go out and talk to contractors who could give him some hard numbers about what percent of homes being built in the region had a sliding glass door. And he comes back and he says only about 25%. Said, okay, we're down to 23,000 homes at this point. And then based on his sales history, how many times he had to present the door versus how many people actually bought, he found he sold about 2 doors for every 10 presentations. So by the time we were all said and done, his real potential market was about 5,000 homes.
And that's potential market, that assuming that all of those 5,000 are going to buy.
Absolutely. And, of course, there's no guarantee.
And I'm thinking as a layman, if he had sent out letters to all those people or did some marketing or freebies, he would have wasted a lot of time, a lot of money. And sadly, the result would be no business because they didn't need it. They weren't going to buy. 95% of them weren't buying anyway.
You're absolutely spot on that, Bill. And this is something I see a lot of companies do. They do blanket marketing. They kind of chuck it at the wall. They hope it sticks. What it actually tends to do is ooze down the wall and not accomplish anything. And you'll get people going, oh, marketing doesn't work for me, or it's a waste of time. And once I hear what they're doing, I say, you're right. It has been a waste of your time because you're not targeting or even hyper-targeting to connect with the people who are most likely to buy your product. And when you don't do that, yeah, you can spend boatloads of money. Unfortunately, most small businesses only have a finite amount of money to spend on conventional advertising and promotion.
And, Claudia, when we come back, I'm going to give our audience a little spoiler alert that you're going to tell us some ways that they don't have to go into expensive marketing firms, etc., to find out some of this information that you're going to alert us to. But at this point in the show, we want to remind our audience that you're listening to The Secrets of Success. I'm your host, Bill Horan, and today we're speaking with Claudia Newcorn, her book, Zipline to Success. At this point in the show, we're going to take a brief break. This show is produced at 90.3 WHBC at Nassau Community College. We'll be right back after this brief intermission.
This portion of programming on WHPC is brought to you on behalf of the Nassau County Bar Association, who wants you to know about ADR, Alternate Dispute Resolution, which can help you avoid costly, lengthy, and uncertain litigation in court. By resolving disputes through mediation or arbitration, it gives you control over who decides your case. A mediator helps all parties to reach an agreement they can live with, or an arbitrator selected by the parties hears and decides the case. Your attorney can still represent you, but you control who decides your case. ADR is faster and less stressful than fighting in court, and it